Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be talking about potentially big news of a potential link between Stellar and Apple. So before we talk about the main story today, I'd like to show you a clip featuring a representative of Circle, where the representative actually goes into detail and provides insights about how stablecoins will become increasingly more important in financial activities which occur around the world, and how the likes of large organizations and institutions could leverage stablecoins for global financial activities.
Support, charge throughout the whole process. So
Good. Yeah. Okay. You have something
Can
to
I
add?
say one thing? I think the panel would be incomplete if we don't have some debate. So can I talk about CBDCs for just
Sure.
one minute? So
Yeah, we can.
at Circle, we don't think CBDCs are inevitable, but we do know that 95% of the world's GDP is looking at a CBDC. And in the U.S., I agree with you. I don't think we're anywhere close. And I think that there's a lot of privacy issues and other issues that will ultimately probably prevent one, maybe a wholesale one. But the way we think about it is that, like, the FAA doesn't make jet engines, right? They set really high standards, and then they let Boeing and Lockheed and others compete. Frankly, if the FAA made my jet engine, I would drive everywhere. But we do think there could be like a role. Nellie Liang recently talked about a CBDC as potentially a backing mechanism for a stablecoin, so part of the reserves. So interesting discussions. I frankly doubt that the world is going to have one currency to rule them all. I think Facebook tried that, and it was spit out and rejected pretty strongly. Now, that was a huge tech organization, so I understand that.
The difference between Facebook and us is Darrell Hubbard. So I advised Facebook. I won't mention the names there. I told them 3 years in advance that project would fail. And I emailed them 3 years ago and said, I explained to you why it would fail, and this is the reason why it didn't work. But we understand. I've been working with central banks for 10 years. We understand the difference. So we built digital currency from the ground up for banking. We're nothing like Bitcoin. We're nothing like Stellar. Yeah. We're nothing like the stable coins. So we imagine how crypto should work for the banking industry. In CBDCs, I agree. I don't think it has a bright future. But what we introduced is an international CBDCs.
So as stated in the previous clip, a number of the largest financial bodies in the world are seeking to implement and utilize stablecoin frameworks into their infrastructure, where an actual article and paper was actually published by the Financial Stability Board entitled FSB Global Regulatory Framework for Crypto Asset Activity. So the actual paper references to how stablecoins will become a more integral component within financial activities which occur around the world. And the G20 meeting, which is due to occur in September of this year, will feature the likes of the IMF and other financial bodies, where they discuss details about how crypto assets and stablecoins could be utilized across the wider economy, and how the utility of such assets could improve actions which emerge and arise within a given economy, and how the likes of the G20 could leverage these assets for their own use cases. So it'll be interesting to see what happens during this event, and whether there's a reference to stablecoin use cases. And this can all be drawn back to Stellar, where Stellar is actually the most widely used network for the USDC stablecoin. So if stablecoin utility is actually raised, this could see the parties discussing the benefits Stellar's network could provide, and in turn this could lead to the utility of the Stellar network increasing by larger institutions around the world. So as well as the potential utility and leveraging of stablecoins across the world and by large institutions, a number of the largest players in global finance, especially among the G20, have actually come together and stated as to how they are set to utilize and implement the ISO 222 payment framework into their architecture, where the likes of India and China have actually rolled out ISO 222 into their framework, and this is coupled with the US and Canada also seeking to transition to the standard in the near future. So this is very exciting, especially due to the benefits the ISO 222 standard will bring to economies, especially nations around the world, as this standard will lead to increases in the speed of transactions and also allowing for transactions to be authorized a lot more seamlessly and cost effectively compared to more traditional legacy infrastructure, including structures provided by the likes of SWIFT. So it goes to show how financial architecture is becoming more aligned with modern, especially among the financial sector. So what does this all mean for crypto? So there's a few crypto networks, DLT networks, that are actually ISO 222 compliant, where such networks include the XRP Ledger, XDC, the Stellar Network, IOTA, Algorand and Hedera. So with ISO being at the center of so many exciting developments and being set to be utilized by some of the largest financial bodies and economies around the world, this could see the likes of Stellar's network being potentially earmarked as a potential network, which is again compliant with the standard, being utilized. And this is coupled with Stellar already being used by some of the biggest financial bodies and institutions, most notably MoneyGram, where MoneyGram is the largest remittance provider in the world, well, one of the biggest providers in the world, which actively leverages the Stellar network, a private variant of the Stellar network, to authorize and validate transactions in the case of stablecoin utility. So the likes of MoneyGram have actually earmarked and observed the potential Stellar's network provides, and this could lead to nations and even further institutions leveraging the use cases Stellar provides. But again, time will tell. And it'll be interesting to see how potentially Stellar is used for future developments, especially among financial activities for years to come. So the cross-border payment infrastructure Stellar can provide could lead to Stellar becoming a competitor to the SWIFT system. So it'll be interesting to see whether more bodies choose to leverage SWIFT. And as I mentioned before, Stellar is already the most widely used network in terms of stablecoin utility in the case of DLTs. So it's already widely integrated into financial activities and the financial sector. But with the innate benefits and qualities attached to Stellar and the utility of its assets, including stablecoins, Stellar could become increasingly more integral and a deeper component within the wider economy across the world. So let's talk about the main story today. So as we all may be aware of, the Stellar team actually tweeted details about how the Stellar Foundation, the Stellar Development Foundation, are set to make a huge announcement over the next few days. So I actually came across a tweet provided by Crypto Insight UK, where he actually came up with a theory, a speculative theory, where the actual dates that align with Stellar's announcement, their due announcement, actually aligns with a special announcement and an event which is set to occur with Apple on the 12th of September, which is again on the same day as the Stellar team's announcement. So it'll be interesting to see whether an announcement is made and whether Stellar could be utilized by the likes of Apple. But again, it's merely speculative. It's just a potential theory, but I found this quite interesting, and we'll have to wait and see what the actual announcement involves and whether it does involve Apple. So could it involve Apple? So Apple have actually noted as to how they are looking to roll out and implement blockchain use cases into their infrastructure, and the Apple team have actually put into place patents with the US Patent and Trademark Office, which is centered around blockchain technology. So the organization is already looking at blockchain technology, and this is also coupled with the Apple CEO Tim Cook also stating as to how Google is looking into cryptocurrency. So with Apple already eyeing to the benefits blockchain and DLT provides, coupled with the organization also eyeing to the potential cryptocurrency can provide for the overall organization, this could lead to the likes of potentially Stellar being incorporated into Apple's infrastructure. But again, this is merely speculative. We don't know whether this is true or not, but it will be interesting to see what the announcement Stellar's team is set to make would involve. Again, we'll have to wait and see what happens. What are your thoughts on Stellar? Do you think Apple should use Stellar? Let us know your views in the comments below. Thank you for watching Crypto Clan. Don't forget to like, subscribe and click on the notification bell. Let us know your views in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.